All right, guys, we have some fun skill work for you today. It's going to be 10 minutes, alternating 2 movements. We're going to do 30 seconds of double under practice, and then on the alternating minute, we're going to do 1 to 2 rope climbs. So each of these are, again, very skill dependent, important to practice. So the double unders, main thing we tell people is to start with good singles, okay? And the important part about that is getting a rope that's the right length. You don't want a rope that's super long. You want a rope where when you keep your elbows in and your hands at your side like this, there isn't a ton of slack at the bottom. A lot of people, what happens is they do jump ropes more with their arms and they get used to a really long rope. So when we ask them to use a short rope, they end up, their hands right here, they end up hitting their feet or their shins. So you have to learn, a good way if you're trying to rebuild your double unders is to go to a shorter rope and learn how to use your wrists. Okay, we don't want to be out here using our arms. So just, can you do 30 seconds in a row of jump ropes with a shorter rope, focusing on your wrists, okay? When you can do that, you want to start building in some double unders so that all the principles stay the same. That chest up, using your wrist now, it's a timing thing and getting used to using that double flick of the wrist, okay? So generally how we tell people to start is do some singles in between. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, and notice I'm trying to keep my chest upright. My position stays the same. All that's really happening is I'm jumping a little bit higher, okay? And then moving my wrist. And the goal is to keep the rope moving. As you get better, you start putting only 1 or 2 singles in between. So it goes down to this, single, double. Okay, something like that. As you get better, you can move to consecutive double unders. What I tell people to do when you practice consecutive double unders is start with just 2 and then stop. Try 3 and then stop, okay? So you're not thinking, I'm gonna do an infinite number, as many, maybe I'll go 30 seconds in a row. You just try to do 2 in a row. So you can really focus on keeping good body position, 2, and then stop. Oh, I could do that. I can do 2 consistently, and then 3, and then 4, and just build up that good practice, all right? So that's half of our skill work. The other one is going to be the rope climb. So love teaching rope climbs. There's a cool skill, functional in life. Main thing here is we're not just doing what we call legless. We're going to get to use our legs. That's why I have this shin guard on to protect the skin along my shin, because you will get rope burn, okay? The prerequisite strength here is that you can hang on a rope. So if I were to just reach up and see, can I hang just like this? All right, am I strong enough just to hold my body weight? I don't have to be able to pull myself up, but just hang there, okay? The idea is in that moment, in that hanging position, I'm going to be lifting my foot up and gathering what we call an anchor for our feet. So watch what it looks like. So I reach really high, up on my toes. I'm going to lift the foot that has the pad on it, and then I'm going to grab the other foot between the rope, all right? And if you can see, my arms are still straight. I don't pull until I stand up with my legs. So I'm stepping on the rope and pulling at the same time. And then I reach up really high, and then I repeat. So again, try not to think about pulling with your arms here. It's straight arms. I lift my knees up and stand at the same time. Okay? So you can see when I'm here, the feet are taking most of the weight, okay? When you get to the spot you feel comfortable, you're going to lower yourself down hand over hand. You're not going to slide, okay? Hand over hand, slide down through the feet, and then hop off, okay? So I'll give you another couple scales here. The most basic that we see in workouts is called a rope lower, all right? So you straddle your feet a little bit, reach up nice and high. Try to keep your body as flat as you can. Roll yourself to the floor. Pull yourself back to a standing position. The way to make this easier is I bend my knees. So this is now easier. Okay? And here's another cool trick. I actually saw this in Coach Chelsea's tips video for the rope climb, is you can start in a seated position, okay, and try to recreate the anchor from here. So you actually don't have to hang to initiate the movement, but I can reach up, okay, and then try to find the anchor from this seated position. So now I don't have to worry about holding my body weight up. Cross my feet from here, hands high, and you just try to stand from there, all right? You can go back to a seated position. So again, a lot of skill in there. 10 minutes, alternating movements. Do your best, have fun with it, and let's talk about our conditioning. All right, guys, so conditioning, interesting today. We got 2 AMRAPs. The first one is 15 minutes for quality. The idea here is no major rest. Continual movement for quality for 15 minutes. Okay, it's going to be 4 movements. Movement number 1 is the reverse grip barbell curl. So again, belly tight, hands are palms facing towards the body, okay, for 10 reps. Down and up. Control up and down, try not to swing, right? So just use the arm. So reverse grip bicep for 10. From there, we're going to go to another classic bodybuilding move is the dumbbell pullover. So this starts laying on your back. Okay, arms are locked out overhead, holding one end of the dumbbell. You're going to come over the back, belly stays tight, and then pull back to where you started. So a lot of that lat usage, keep the belly engaged. Okay, for 10 reps. Feel free to add and change weight as you go. From here, we go to tempo ring rows. So for the tempo ring rows, tempo means controlled movement. Remember, you can change the difficulty depending on the angle of your body. So the more upright you are, the easier it's going to be. And then if you come down, it's going to be more challenging. Okay? But tempo means, again, control. Our idea here is beginning to end. Control, and we're trying to do all 10 reps without any rest in between. Good range of motion. Control up and down. If it feels easy, move the position of your feet. If you're hitting failure, change the angle. So again, you can keep moving through those 10 reps. The last one, 2 options. We have 10 GHD sit-ups. We like to expose this to people. This is nice. If you've never done GHD sit-ups in a workout, very potent exercise for the core. And it's a great way to learn the movement. So let me show you how it works. Okay. First thing is you want to set up to make sure that the distance here is correct. Remember, this thing moves forward and back. Okay. So see if I did a good guess here. I think it's a little bit short. I'm going to back it up a little bit. You want to have this so that your butt is kind of just on the downward slope. All right. And here's the important part about the sit-up. It's not just a sit-up. You need to pay attention to the legs. The quad is a hip flexor. It helps move my hip. So watch as I come down, my knees are going to be bent. And as I sit up, I'm going to flex my quads. I'm going to lock my knees. Okay? So when I teach this to people, I would say start with your hands across your chest and just go to about parallel. So notice, knees are bent on the way down. As I sit up, I flex my quads, if you can see that. All right? So there's a bit of timing in there. Now the hands across the chest is about weight on the midline. If I put my hands over my head, that feels heavier. So things that you can scale here are the range of motion. So I can do a bigger range of motion. And or adding hands overhead. But no matter what, I'm always working on that good timing of the hip flexor. If you're not comfortable with this or you don't want to deal with it, the option will be 15 V-ups or tuck-ups, all right? So for the V-up or tuck-up, you start on the floor. Okay, remember for this, you want to be engaged in that hollow position to start. The tuck-up is knees to the chest, and I end up sitting just on my butt, okay? Don't flop yourself open, all right? Tuck. Extend, always keeping that tension in the midline. The harder version is the V-up. Same rules. Don't let your feet or arms flop to the ground. End up just on your butt at the top. Okay, so 15 minutes through these guys. We get a 2-minute rest, and then we go into a 10-minute AMRAP after that. All right, guys. Second part after a 2-minute rest is a 10-minute AMRAP of 20 sit-ups with an ab mat, 40 plate jumps, and then some handstand walking or wall walks. So the ab mat sit-ups, I always remind people there's 2 sides of the ab mat. The thicker side is the one that goes closer to your body. You don't actually sit on the pad, it just slides up to your back. You're going to come down the back side, shoulders touch the ground, hands touch, swing up and sit all the way up at the top. All right, so again, be aggressive with the upper body and get that full range of motion. It's not just touching your toes, but make sure you sit all the way up, shoulder over your hip. Okay, from there, we got 40 plate jumps. This is nothing fancy, just a little bit of bounding. Okay, so you just jump down and up, a little bit of bounding, 40 reps, just get you a little bit winded. From there, we've got the more technical one, which is going to be handstand walking. So this is 25 feet per round or 3 wall walks. So let's talk about the wall walk. That starts on the ground, bottom of a push-up. First thing you're going to do is kind of sit back, step 1 foot up to the wall, other foot up to the wall, and then walk the hands as far as you feel comfortable, but the standard is touch your nose to the wall, walk your hands back forward, step back down, and then you're done. All right, so 3 of those. Don't go outside your comfort zone, go up as high as you feel comfortable, and then back down. All right. Another scale for this can be doing, if you can't do handstand walking, uncomfortable inverted, is to do maybe a 50-foot bear crawl. So this is twice the distance of a basic bear crawl. Is also a great scale as well. This is only 10 minutes, so burn through as many rounds as you can. That's it for today, guys. See you tomorrow.